Hello and welcome back to my channel. An update about what's been happening the last year or so. I'm gonna continue where I stopped last time. I'm just going to click on things and explain things a little bit more, recap and give updates if there are any updates. I'm kinda doing this in the middle of work, but let's just coffee. Let's just do it because I have 2 hours now. Why not? And my mind is kind of fresh with regards to just a lot of things happening these days. Am I still recording? Yes, I am. So let's get into it. There's a lot of things happening. A lot of things converging. Stuff that I've seen. Stuff with my family. I saw my family in a certain state of being before the rapture, before the disasters, and it's just the way that things are coming together, the confirmations is just too much, and just the things that I'm seeing, the things that people in Skywatch TV are seeing, the things that Ella Marzulli is seeing, that the stuff that people are experiencing and that they are receiving from God, it's all just coming together. This narrative is building, and it's all heading into a converging direction. But without further ado, let's get into it. I'm still holding to this, that the destruction of the moon is coming. Maybe it can be avoided. This is all that I've received from God thus far with regards to how the disasters will occur, and I'm still holding to it. Here's the last video that I uploaded. So yes, this one will be called Tsunami Dreams Update 3. Michael Heiser, a highly recommended guy. It's just his wisdom and approach to the Bible is just so necessary. So necessary for the days we are living in. What's happening here? There's a lot of black people that are supporting Trump, and am I a Trumpy? Am I a right wing? Am I a conservative? Am I an alt-right? No. Whoever's in charge, whoever's a leader, whoever has the money at the top, I think I don't trust, will ever trust. Anybody can turn around, anybody can change, and Trump is at the top, and how many people did he have to step on to get to the top? I don't know. But with regards to all the leaders, world leaders now currently at the top in the world, Trump is the only one that seems to be sporting a mind that is not completely warped by chaos. Is he a good guy? Is he holy? Is he righteous? I don't know, and I would go as far as to say no. He's got some things, he's got some skeletons in the closet, but he's the only one of the only ones, just giving Christianity common sense and logic a fair say, a podium to say things from. Everybody else seems to want chaos to reign supreme and wants to silence conservatives, burn churches, and hate white people. I know, yeah, okay, white people have had it easy, um, I guess, but for me as a white South African, I've been having it tough since birth, and I've been called a monster and a demon since birth on the propaganda videos that used to circulate our primary schools and stuff in South Africa. It's like these reprogramming videos that they showed at the schools, and ever since those, I've been known by myself and my own mind as a bad person, as something that's inherently flawed and racist. It's just not true. So the current spin and hatred towards white people just doesn't make sense. There are those that don't see color. Let's just say that, and that's how the world should go forward. And nobody, whether you're white, black, or yellow, is an angel or a demon. You're a human, and your actions should determine the judgment on you. Racism is unnecessary. Okay, so yeah, this will come to a certain point, but there's a lot of stuff going on with my stomach, and it seems to be my stomach is the culprit for my health situation. Chaos. Kampf. Thank you, Derek Gilbert. You are really instrumental in helping me understand my own visions with regards to the coming chaos and how I saw the god set and the big snake worm dragon thing Apophis. It's been featuring in my dreams, and how I've been realizing that God has been showing me that a force of chaos is coming onto the world, and how especially a dream that I'm writing now into a video is going to feature this one. It's going to feature and would be instrumental in just my addition to this unraveling narrative that God is warning us about a force of chaos coming upon the world. And it's not evil like we're used to. It's chaos evil. It's an evil that we haven't seen, the planet hasn't seen since the days of Noah. Utter chaos is coming upon the planet, and if you look at the current mindset of our time right now, which is Monday, July 19, 2021, just the chaos right now where evil is good and good is evil, it just makes sense. And how I've been shown this since the early 2000 teens, where God has been warning me about chaos, and it just didn't make sense. And if I didn't watch Skywatch TV and the hub of information that channel is, it's currently been removed from YouTube. But if I never watched that, I would have never understood the symbols. So it's just amazing how my stuff and other Christian stuff is converging. I'm talking too much. Irvin Baxter, apparently he died because of COVID-19 complications. He was instrumental in helping me understand the timeline of tribulation, or just as I see it now, where we are currently in the fifth seal. And a combination of what he's seeing, what Bill Salas is seeing, and what Skywatch TV is seeing, just coming together, forming my own timeline as I understand it through my dreams, where if the moon hit, if something hit the moon causing the tsunamis and asteroids and tsunamis, then it's the only way that it can fit in. That the first horsemen were war ages or ideological ages, with the fifth seal right now being the aftermath of the fourth seal, we're moving into that time of Islam and pestilence. We are now in the time of Islam and pestilence, and we are reaching a pressure cooker point. Islam, we're currently in the fifth seal, the aftermath of Islam's war on the world, pestilence, COVID-19, and persecution. Islam, pestilence, persecution, and longing for salvation. How persecution is really reaching a fever pitch, and how I believe the next seal to be opened will be the rapture and the destruction of the moon and the start of what I thought was the tribulation, but I believe it will be the start of the tribulation age, which might have a gap of 20, 50 years before the 7-year tribulation starts. That's what I believe. So I believe I've seen San Francisco area San Francisco area. What am I saying? The approximate time I had the dream. So around about August 10, 2017, I uploaded this. This is what I saw. I saw like a city divided by a mountain range, or like a metropolitan area, a large metropolitan area divided by a mountain range, and how 2 fire bombs will be sent towards this city. One will be destroyed midair or fail to hit. Another one will hit the seaside of a city and cause extreme inferno level devastation. It is just a lot of burning, a lot of fire. One side is a seaside city, kind of green and nice. The other side is like also a city, and there's a tunnel or something through the mountain range. And the other side of the city is like kind of dryish on the side. Though this might be wrong because it's a long time ago. I just know it's a large metropolitan area divided by a mountain range, and 2 nukes will be shot at it. What I believe was Salt Lake City. See, it's like a mountain range dividing the 2, but maybe it's San Francisco. It's either Salt Lake City or San Francisco or another one. I'm not sure. A name wasn't given to me in the city. I just know an American place will be hit with kind of like this layout, and it will happen without warning. One nuke will fail, another one will hit. People will be burning. I saw people burning in their cars, so it hit extremely fast. This is just a comment. Well, I guess some people will see it as comedy. This is a comment. Genesis, a fae-like world where humanity was motivated to wander naked in perfect bodies and have sex as much as possible, to populate all star systems without fear of sustenance or toil, possibly communicating with animals and able to see the ether. This was reality this was the state of the world until Satan messed it up. A really cool world, amazing world. For hedonists watching this video, God really made the perfect world for all mindsets, and sin was just not part of the equation, and then Satan just messed it up. A world of pleasure and fantasy-like amazing stuff, just talking to your pets, and it was destroyed. We were cut off from that supernatural wonder world. So I'm not a Trumpy, but you know, he is kind of the only one with common sense. I still believe that he would win, and I still believe that he did win. But some other interesting things happened. Another quote by Michael S. Heiser. I discovered this guy, Steven Crowder. Really nice news commentary guy, and he's just like on the ball with much of the stuff, and it's a good laugh. I believe he has already been kicked off YouTube, or he will be soon kicked off YouTube. I think some really bad voter fraud happened, and that's why Trump is not in office anymore. Kevin Sorbo. Am I following him? I believe I'm following him. Also a big Trump supporter, and he's also voicing his opinion. What's Gutfeld saying?
No one has a right to tell you when you can't be angry. And no one has a right to say you're crazy for being skeptical, especially when you've just spent 4 years patiently enduring the tantrums of sniveling brats.
Yeah. So conservatives have to suffer the tantrums, but when we have a valid point to make of voter fraud and boxes just appearing out of nowhere, out of vans and stuff, then we're crybabies and crazy and should not have a voice or a platform to voice our concerns. It's just ridiculous. Well, I'm not American, but you know, there are champions of truth. And hear me out. No person that I'm supporting or featuring on my channel is perfect. But there are people better than others, people who stand for the right thing, and you people that absolutely just let chaos run rampant. I constantly experience the spirit telling me to look up, and it's still happening. Sometimes I get this fluttering, weird bubbling in my heart where I feel like the spirit is telling me something's happening, something's coming. And then, yeah, it's like the next day happens, and I look up, and life still seems normal, but that feeling always pushes me to do stuff like this, just to put out what I need to put out. Apophis asteroid, it keeps popping its head out. Health is terrible. My health has been horrible since that time until now, about a week ago. My health has been getting better. I've been through one hell of a ride since my vaccination. I did not take the mRNA or RNA vaccination. I took a weak virus injection. Whether or not it turned me into a hybrid, I didn't know, but I spoke to God and I waited and I prayed, and He did not warn me not to get it, so I got the vaccine, or else I needed to leave this country and go back to my country. And God clearly told me to stay close to my wife. If I had to go back to my country, that would mean leaving my wife. And so that was the only way I could discern God's will, was to stay close to my wife, and that meant taking the vaccine and sticking it out in Thailand. Daily Bread, here are people that I recommend. Look at that, Skywatch TV. They were nuked from YouTube. You will see that in my ranting. And these people are really the go-to people if you find yourself post-rapture or on my channel and I'm long gone for some reason. These guys, follow them, find them. If they're not on YouTube anymore, find them on Rumble, find them on their respective private websites. Fact. Yeah, I was round about the fever pitch of the election fraud. I could not get into Twitter. I was nuked off Twitter because I was like commenting and sharing truth on Twitter wherever I could, and I was challenging people who say, conservatives, be quiet. I was challenging people. I was just posting stuff and posting memes, and maybe I was kicked off for spamming, but yeah, I got kicked off Twitter, and only after Trump was eliminated from Twitter, literally the day after Trump was kicked from Twitter, I got let back in. So of some kind of psyop happening on Twitter. I have proof. I think I put pictures here somewhere. But anyway, so it's not a peptic ulcer. I know what happened to my no coffee. Come Lord Jesus, come. I know what happened to me now, and the vaccine made it worse. I'm one of those people that almost died from a vaccine. This might be this is a good article that I recommend. Michael Heiser just saying something again. I'm opening that up. Okay, this is a dream that I had. Where there were, where God was showing me utter chaos coming from the ocean. Centipedes and spider-like crabs, and not like spider king crab things. Worse, it was more spider than crab coming out of the ocean, and absolutely millions of the things just convulsing like a wave of disgusting legs and scurrying. And these things were big. They were literally as big as a sofa, each of them. And there were millions of them coming from the ocean. And I did not understand what I was seeing. And thanks to Derek Gilbert, Sharon K. Gilbert, Skywatch TV, explaining to me how chaos is coming upon the world, and that I was seeing this force of chaos as well. Look at this. Let's summarize this dream. I saw. Oh, okay, so this is the other creature that I saw. Just massive centipedes coming out of the ocean. Uh, there were specifically creatures coming out of the ocean. The crabs and the spider crab things, the arachne crabs, and these big centipedes coming out of the ocean. And then specifically these things coming out of the dirt. They were coming out of the dirt, but they were also digging into the dirt, trying to release something. They were kind of like weird, like this. It's like this is the best representation. They were, they looked like hands trying to come out of the earth, but as the wiggling fingers that you saw, it's like a zombie trying to escape. And there were millions of these things too, on the beaches. They were on the beaches digging something out. So from the water were the crabs and the centipedes. I think you call it centipedes with their nasty mandibles. But then on the beaches and on the land, all over the earth, these hands were scurrying. But I went closer and I inspected the creature, and on the other side, it was a mouth digging into the earth, trying to free some ancient evil. And also on the beach, you could see crazy cultists also chanting feverishly, sacrificing and chanting and dancing naked and orgies to unleash some evil on the world. Some evil, some chaos evil onto the world, like the real Satan, not the fancy little Bible picture book Satan, but the real Satan coming to the earth. And the only way to escape this chaos, this utter chaos, was me and my two other friends. It was like me, a guy, and a woman, a girl, had to get on jet skis, cross the ocean, and reach kind of like a high island with a lighthouse on. And we shut ourselves into that island, and we were safe. High place lighthouse might be a rapture reference, or it might be the Bible, a light unto my feet. That was the only way to escape the utter chaos covering and enveloping the whole world in that dream. The whole world was taken over by these beasts and things. Utterly, the whole world was taken over. And it was just a matter of days and a short time we had to escape to that lighthouse, and then we were safe. We could shut ourselves in. Okay, here I explain more about what I saw. It was this is a symbolic dream. Not necessarily these creatures will come out of the earth, although I had a couple of tsunami dreams that showed that extinct creatures coming out of the oceans and attacking and eating people. I also had a dream that with the tsunami, giants come out of the oceans and attack and eat people. So something might be unleashed from the inner earth on the planet, although this might also just be symbolic. I don't know what this is. Is this something funny?
We have our first space cadet, Roger Roach, launching off into space.
Terrible. Rapture. Okay, so this is a compilation of what I see. Before having rapture dreams, I had a dream about this type of electrical tornado thing coming on the earth when the tsunami happens. I saw these electrical tornado just like lightning and energy. And this tornado was ripping up pieces of a rocky mountain up. Now, remember how Jesus said, Peter, on your testimony of me as a rock, and on this rock I will build my church. And I believe this was a reference to the church and how pieces of the church will be torn up into heaven. Rapture. So this whirlwind, this vortex of fire might be the thing God was alluding to that took Elijah and Enoch up into heaven. And how this thing, this symbol evolved later to this symbol, where I saw people taken to heaven by straight lightning. The rapture. I saw the rapture. So when I saw this symbol, I was still believing in post-trib. And God was showing me this symbol. And I had no idea what it was, even though I knew about the whirlwind of fire, as the Bible calls it. I just didn't put two and two together until I had these dreams, and God convinced me, rapture, Steve. It's rapture. And so the dreams made me a pre-tribber, because the way the symbols came together, it could only have been God. So now I'm here, just trying to sound the alarm. Okay, so I got a wife now. I'm normal secular job, normal secular friends. Still got my Christian friends, but but far away in other countries. Why? Why don't you have Christian friends? Because even most Christians are secularized and liberalized. I just met a guy, conservative, but he's recently been liberalized, and it's just people just folding under the pressure of the chaos, the building chaos, and it's just so hard to find a good Christian friend. My wife is a better person than some Christians out there, and it's just me, my wife, my couple of Christian friends online, my family, and I'm doing this channel thing. COVID-19 is raging right now. Bangkok is a mess. New Peru COVID just came out, and yeah, I'm a normal guy. How can you speak to God? How does God speak to you? I'm just a normal guy that spends a lot of time with God. How do you spend time with God? You just spend time with God. Go somewhere quiet, go somewhere comfortable, shut yourself in with the Bible, and just work through the Bible. Teach yourself. Eventually, God's Spirit will start talking to you. But how do I know it's my thoughts? God's not going to speak to everyone because He cannot trust everyone. You have to build up that trust with God, and eventually you will learn His voice. He has a still small voice. His sheep, His lambs know His voice. He is the good shepherd. Listen to your dreams. Even though your dreams doesn't make sense, write down your dreams. Read the Bible. Eventually what you read in the Bible will connect with your dreams. Eventually God will start speaking to you through dreams or through a way that you understand. Maybe you are artistic. God will speak to you through the music you compose. God will speak to you in a way that is most efficient with regards to your personality. Dreams is one way. I highly recommend John Paul Jackson, who is now deceased, also a great hero of mine. John Paul Jackson, get everything you can about that man, and he will teach you how to hear God's voice, especially with dreams. I believe currently the body of Christ is being sifted by Satan, and in a sense, through God's hand, for everybody to reveal their true colors, and that rapture is just around the corner. I had a dream about a gelatin demon coming from the sky, and it just killed people around me, showing me how strong it is. But eventually, some old people, I believe, showed me how to kill it, and I killed this demon with seawater. And it was like a nebula with little stars inside him, nebula jelly type. It's like a jelly demon that was comprised of the cosmos. It was very strong, very, very like, wow, like a cosmic demon. But the easy way to kill it was just with seawater. Seawater turned it into charcoal, salt of the earth. Living water plus salt of the earth kills this demon. The demon that's currently just tearing through the world, ruining churches and conservatism. This might be this jelly demon thing, and how just your knowledge of the word and your effectiveness or help for the body of Christ, if you are doing something for God and if you know your Bible, you will be able to destroy this demon, turn it into charcoal. What that means, I don't know yet. Charcoal could mean a symbol. See, a lot of dreams and stuff I haven't dug into yet because God has not revealed it to me, or I haven't reached that point where the symbol makes sense to me. This still happens, especially when this happens is when I'm very busy. That's also a possibility, but that's just one of the dreams that I had. Just one time I had this dream, so I'm not going to draw it or make a video of it, especially because dreams that I just have once off. That's not very overwhelming or repetitive. I'll mention it. Dreams that I have a lot or that felt like really over the top, I'll make a video about them. Twitter kicked me off. I feel quite worthy after they kicked me off. I feel we are in a state of false security, and that we should all be preparing for rapture. I believe that Tom Horn's prediction about the Apophis asteroid will absolutely might throw people into a state of seeking God. Yes, this is the false nice picnic period. We might enter a time where people will throw themselves at Christians, and that we need to be ready for this to happen. It's going to be instrumental in raking in extra souls for the rapture, and that a lot of people will go soft and lazy during that time. They will go into picnic mode, whereas we should really be in our utter evangelism mode when that time happens. I believe the moon will bleed. Jonathan Kahn, good message that he gave there. So my brother was killed around about this time, end of January. Recently, his girlfriend also died due to cancer. We were unsure about whether he was in heaven, but confirmations that I got, God told me stuff, and God told my dad stuff, and God told my mom stuff. And we are all kind of broken and hurt, but we all finally, like now, months later, we all compared our quiet time notes and how each of our notes concerning my brother came together confirming that he is in heaven. He had enough exposure to Christ to be safe in his lap. And how his girlfriend died recently, and as she was on her deathbed, she was in extreme pain. She went into a state of being where she was like a little girl. She counted 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, as if she was playing with someone. And then she suddenly exclaimed my brother's voice in great ecstasy, as if she was seeing him, and then she passed. Just this confirmation again where he is, and that he is safe. I'm just sharing more about my brother. I had dreams where this deceased brother was still alive and that he was not going to make rapture. Tsunami happens, he's still alive. I had dreams. But then I prayed a lot for him. My mom prayed a lot for him. My dad prayed a lot for him. He was really wild. And right now, he passed away. He's not alive anymore. So we all think that the rapture is around the corner and that he was not going to make it. But now he's passed away. And that might have been the way God ensured him to be safe. Because everybody else in my family, I'm pretty sure they are safe. This is him. I saw him being taken to God in a state of like, I don't want to go, 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 but that he goes anyway. And this was one of the confirmations that he goes to God even though he doesn't want to go to God. I think the prayers we said for him all our life paid off. It's just amazing how these confirmations came together. Tribulation around the corner. This is a video where I saw this. Will be this video. I was in the marriage supper of the Lamb. Just a little food for thought. Perry Stone seeing tsunami dreams again. This is what I see happening to the moon. Maranatha. Had this dream. I had the dream where the tsunami happens, and the aftermath of this dream is that I see basically a lot of the world is deluged, but not as the level of Noah's flood. And then afterward, everybody that survived the flood crucify themselves on crosses made of rubble. Whatever it's like they crucify themselves on their sins, or their sins crucify them. It's like they receive what they are due, the due punishment that their sins deserve, they receive in full. And this utterly twists them mentally and emotionally. It's like they instead of like having Christ carry the penalty for their sins, it's like they have to carry that pain themselves. And that's what happens. It twists them. And abstractly, figuratively, they are crucified on rubble crosses until the waters subside and things go back to a semblance of normalcy. And then the people kind of collect themselves, but they're traumatized in kind of like a rigid stupor of have you ever seen that movie Equilibrium, where people are kind of like deadened? Their emotions are deadened, their feelings are deadened. They deaden it like there's no point, but they're all so like stooped in brotherhood and camaraderie that everybody works together so nicely. It's like this traumatized yet hardworking rebuilding of the world society, and how people just build up the world again. in a weird communist sense, and they build everything up, and years go by. Years go by. Literally, a generation goes by until finally the tribulation starts happening. It's like years go by and stuff has been rebuilt. Society rebuilds up into an industrial age, which means that something happens to electronics. Electronics gets wiped out. This might be some kind of EMP that hits the world, or all the internet cables has been destroyed and just electronics fried. I don't know. I literally, the sun, something might happen to the sun as well while the moon boom happens, and people rebuild themselves up to an industrial age level. And I see people using old TVs again. And eventually, when they reach that point where television is back on the scene and internet kind of, I see evil rising again, and then the things being put in motion for the start of tribulation. So decades might go by before the tribulation starts. Decades after the rapture might transpire. People might forget and ignore what happened. A whole generation thinking that what happened with the rapture and the tsunami was just like a fluke or a force of nature and that Christ isn't real. They will reach that point again. The point we are now, they will reach again, and they will dismiss everything, and then tribulation will come. No, this is not literal, this is figurative. It's a very figurative dream. But there will be a literal rebuilding. I will share a slide where I show this communist age post-rapture to you. Another little view of something close to what I see in my dreams. Pieces of that impact hit the earth and cause the tsunamis. That shockwave might fry all electronics. And it's 15 minutes. I know the moon is very far away, but you have 15 minutes to get to high ground before the tsunamis come. Happily married. Married my beautiful wife, my beautiful Thai wife. We had a traditional wedding and a Christian wedding. I love this fire opal emerald color ring. It glows in the dark. And her beautiful moonstone ring. Her rose gold moonstone ring, and this is like the good wishes of her family on our lives. February 14 got married on Valentine's Day. That is our anniversary. So more asteroid hits the moon videos. I just put a song here because sometimes I feel like the boy who cried wolf, and I know that's not the case. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do according to Paul. Whoever doesn't do what they feel they're supposed to, it is a sin to them. So I rather do what I feel I should, as opposed to just letting it be and missing my part in Christ's body and possibly not qualifying for rapture. Do what you can. Find that thing you can do for Christ. It's your knowledge of the word and your work for Christ. It's these two elements that form seawater that kills the cosmic demon, which might be Satan, which might be chaos that's coming. Chaos, the jelly demon might just be another representation of this chaos force, this cosmic chaos force coming onto our world. Jelly demon might also be a reference to extraterrestrial disclosure and how that forms part of the chaos. Imagine the chaos that would unleash of apparent demonic forces on the world and extraterrestrials and just everything, that whole zit popping. Get close to God, get close to the word, and do something for the body so that you might be spared, so that you can prove yourself a part of his pasture. So I had this dream. Here it is the description of the dream, and I believe some interpretation maybe. Here is this is one of the dreams where I see giants coming out of the ocean, killing people. This is a kind of like a representation of the dream that I saw. I see the tsunami happening, and the water just rising higher and higher. And every time you think the water is finished rising, it just rises another level, and eventually you're pushed to kind of like the tops of cities, the top levels of cities. And when you reach that point, it's like giants, weird construct giants, come out of the ocean and they start attacking people. I am busy with work, so let's just see if I have some kind of work related message. I don't believe so. We are still fine. Nobody's sending me a message. I'm being very naughty. Teaching from home currently, so that's why I'm still kind of in work mode. Yeah. And so I believe I saw the Western Cape, Cape Town, because there was kind of a rock in the ocean breaking the worst of the wave, and that's what Table Mountain is. It's like a big rock mountain that could block the initial crush of the wave and give Cape Town some time. It's a very Christian city, also a very homosexual city, but a very Christian city. And there will be a lot of Christians left behind. They're Christians only in name, but they know of Christ. And they will be the first evangelists during the gap time and leading up to the tribulation. However long that gap time will be. Grace Rock, I call this Table Mountain, and how that mountain will literally give moments to people to get to higher ground or get on some kind of flotation debris. More Michael Heiser quotes. I am on Gab now. I've put some Gabs on Gab. I see dinosaurs and giants or chaos creatures coming out of the ocean after the tsunami. What that means, I'm not sure. It might be a reference to alien disclosure or Middle Earth creatures coming out of the water, or just symbolically expressing the chaos of the ensuing days after the disaster. Unraveling Revelations, not on YouTube anymore. They were kicked off YouTube for speaking the truth. They let out a video about pedophilia in the highest echelons of government, and quickly they were removed. A very famous documentary work by Josh Peck and Derek Hilbert exposing pedophilia in the high levels of world government, and how it's very pervasive, very deep, and quickly when that movie documentary got accord and fame, they were kicked off YouTube with lightning speed. So I see Donald Trump getting shot in the head by an angry man that was hiding backstage or below stage. I saw a very skinny looking Trump get shot. Although this might not be Trump, it might be something that looks like this guy. I think this guy's name is Rod Stewart. But some guy that looks like this, that has a kind of like a select world following, will be shot on the world stage, and everybody will see it, though it's going to be at a semi-private event where only his fans will be, but there will be an angry man that hates him and that will shoot him in the head point blank or very close, a couple of meters. And this is a barometer for my dreams where I saw this happening. And this man, the heart of this man is, he just wants to sing a good song to the world. He just wants to entertain the world. If this is Donald Trump, then his true heart is entertaining the world and bringing a smile to the world. He just wants to see the world smile. Just the things that are happening breaks his heart, and that compels him to just give the sunshine that's in his heart as best as he can. As imperfect as he is, just give it as best as he can. But then, despite that, just someone shooting him out of pure hatred. So the man had dark hair. I think it might be from Arab or Mexican descent. I'm not sure. I just know his hair was dark. Could be just a white guy. A lot of white liberals hate Trump. I don't think anybody's going to shoot Rod Stewart. Although maybe he becomes a voice. I don't know. It's like the guy was famous. He had a voice and he was known for singing. And he had crazy blonde hair. I call him crazy hair in this dream. And I had this dream in 2016 when Trump wasn't even president yet. He was still running. He was a nominee. Or before nominee. Here, wicked abominations. This verse kind of like sheds light on this chaos force being unleashed on the world. It's like this chaos magic is a new brand of magic, or an old brand of magic being unleashed on the world. Something we haven't seen for a long time. I guess I'm super straight because I'm straight, and I haven't been taught all the pronouns. I'm graduated high school 2005. I'm sorry, man, I haven't been versed in those. I guess I'm a super straight male, if that's accepted. Some people say the tsunamis will be our symbols for revival. Yeah, let's hope so, but I didn't see a lot of revival happening when I see people running for their lives. Every time. I know before the tsunamis there might be a picnic period where lukewarm Christians and sinners will be given their final chance to get into the kingdom. So I had a tsunami dream about Thailand, but the waves were not as high. It's like we heard something on the news and then there was enough time to get high or somewhere, but the water eventually came and it kind of like rushed in as opposed to a wave. It's like a Indian Ocean tsunami. What's that one? The Christmas, the Boxing Day tsunami. I saw kind of like that, just a little worse, happening to Thailand coasts, and how I saw that the roads were cut off. All the major roads of the country were managed by bandits. If you wanted to cross provincial borders, there were always bandits. So a time of chaos post tsunami ensuing on Southeast Asia. So I had a choice to just like do what not what everybody else is doing, but just not like live my life and crawl under a rock with all the bad things that has happened to me, and just let the world get what's coming to it. Or I could do something about these tsunami dreams, and I could investigate and I could share it with people. It's cost me relationships. It's cost me romantic relationships. It's cost me friendships. It's cost me my name, my reputation with Christian friends and Christian circles. I've been kind of like pushed aside, and but I did it anyway, because God said either you do it now, or either you explain to people now, or you're going to explain to them after. And by saying that, explain to them after, meant that I will still be here. So I had a choice: either share my warnings and not be here, or don't share my warnings, be here after the tsunami, and share them anyway. So I prefer to do it like this, because kind of like editing videos. Not that I'm super pro, but I like doing it, I always wanted to be an animator for God's Kingdom. I studied animation, started studying it, but then that it 2007-ish, it everything just in my life fell apart, and I had to stop. And my animation course started with Photoshop, and then I never got to the animation part. This is around about the time I had my Christian wedding. I had a dream that some kind of military annexation or something will happen during my honeymoon, and that already passed, but I'm still not legally wed because COVID-19 froze certain government procedures, and I still have to do the paperwork for my marriage to my wife. And how I had another dream about war with China, literally Southeast Asia at war with China. This was during my honeymoon with my beautiful wife. Funny video, I believe. No war yet. I saw kind of like a communist takeover of Southeast Asia. When I lived in Cape Town, Western Cape, close to this ocean, I had a lot of tsunami dreams. When I moved away from the ocean, the tsunami dreams became less. And these days, the tsunami dreams have kind of stopped. That's very ominous to me and another guy following me. His tsunami dreams are also stopping. Fires because of nuclear bombs, moon boom, and wars. These are on the lips of my mind and spirit, things that I see or that I feel compelled to share with people. Oh, so annoying that I sometimes cannot share the entirety of what I want to tweet, but I found a way. So I believe Obama is the Antichrist and that Pope Francis will be the false prophet. I've had multiple dreams putting this on my spirit. One morning I kind of woke up. To this strange symbol. I woke up to what felt like a hard surface smashing into my head, like someone hitting me with a wall in my face. I felt this physical force. As I opened my eyes, I kind of opened my eyes in the spirit. It's like I left my body momentarily. It hurt when I opened my eyes. It felt like I was tearing away from myself. I ripped open my eyes, and for a moment I saw this symbol on a wall. My spirit hit this wall, and I saw this symbol on the wall. Not exactly what I saw, but very close to. Like my ghost hit this thing, or the wall hit me. I'm not sure. It's like I flew into this, or the wall flew into me. No idea what it is. Careful, because I did not feel an overly holy spirit. I believe this might have been some new age demon trying to like do something to me, trying like, oh, you had a spiritual experience, you need to investigate it. No, because I did not have an overly holy spirit feeling. I had like a weird shock, painful fear feeling when this thing happened, though it might have been the Holy Spirit trying to get my attention, because round about this time I just got married. I was just all honeymoon, and I wasn't really, deep into Bible study. I was just like, hanging back, just enjoying my life. So in a time also where my health was not really good, I ate and drank whatever I wanted to during my honeymoon, and that might have been a bad idea for my health. So that might have been a reason for my spirit being kind of open. Was it a selfish time? Yeah, it was a selfish time in my life. It was my honeymoon. But then this gap opened up. I believe a demon might have like done this to me, but I put it up anyway. Because you see the pyramid thing, that's going to feature again. So it might have been the Holy Spirit, and I put it up just in case. I share my thoughts on this thing. Right now, I'm standing and defending. I'm at that point where I'm just defending against the onslaughts of the world, and sharing whenever I can, sharing what God puts on my heart. more. I had a dream about world or Southeast Asia. No, first I had a dream about COVID-19 ramping up to a point where you had to be taxed for leaving your house or leaving your room. Every time you leave your house or room and every time you come back into your home, you were taxed 5 baht, or a currency of 5. And how this dynamic in the world reached a fever pitch where something happened and there was war declared on China. I did not see the other countries or the rest of the world, but I saw Southeast Asia at war with China. I saw 4 or 5 nations, especially Thailand, maybe India, Laos, Myanmar. It's like these nations fighting against China. It was China had the banner of a red dragon, and there was like an army that was colored green, an army that was colored purple, an army that was colored blue, and of course Thailand was colored yellow. And how these armies was facing off against China at a battlefield involving a major river. They were like ready, they were standing there, and the battle was about to begin. Thailand para-dropped units into the battle. I was one of the people para-dropped in. Though, so this war might happen pre-rapture. It's possible, because it's like for some reason it seemed like I was drafted into the Thailand army. Yeah. So I'm very aware of New Age. I research them, and I'm forming an apologetic slowly in my mind, because I see New Age taking over certain branches of Christianity, and I'm very, very aware of them, and it's like you could feel that demon also kind of trying to hijack me, but that's not going to work, because yes, New Age has a lot going for it, except that it's ambiguous and that it always attacks Christianity. It doesn't attack other religions. New Age always attacks Christianity, but then praises other religions. So that's just a dead giveaway for the spirit involved in New Age. It just doesn't make sense. Why don't you attack Islam? Why don't you attack Buddhism? Why are you only attacking Christianity? Why is Christianity your enemy? And New Age also doesn't have a lot of archaeological, paleontological things going for them. They make a lot of assumptions, and they're ambiguous, and they don't really have a core doctrine. And all the adherents of New Age differs from one another. So how? How do you want? Even the masters of New Age, kind of like the first New Agers, they differ from the New Agers and the ancient astronaut theory guys. Like they're all kind of like against each other, kind of like for each other, but kind of like not all of them saying the same thing. So that's a lot of red lights going off there. So that's just why I can't fall into New Age. The Bible has a lot of archaeological backing, paleontological backing, doctrinal backing, just showing that it has a structure and a backbone, whereas all other religions, including New Age, lacks that structure and backbone. Some more creation science things. Why I hold to the Bible and Christianity, because it has a stone foundation. It is a solid rock. Had a dream that North Korea rushed AI. They didn't do what all the other countries do. They just rushed into AI, and the AI went rampant and took over North Korea and killed all the humans. But for some reason the AI just stayed in North Korea. It didn't venture into other countries. It just stayed there dormant. Just stayed in North Korea. And if you went in there, these things would come alive and kill you. Is this a warning that someone is messing with AI and that it would lead to some kind of situation? I don't know. The same, I think I woke up from this dream and I went back to sleep, and then I had cake with Kim Jong-un. So this might just be a what's that expression? A fever dream, or it might have been a thing. It's just once, so I'm not going to make a video about it. I'm just putting it up here. Rampant AI. Not rampant, rogue AI. I had a dream about rogue AI in North Korea. And the whole North Korea was off limits, like Chernobyl. Like, you just didn't go there. I declined Sinovac, but then was forced to take it. I have had 2 shots now. 4 days after my first shot, I went dizzy and became very, very ill. The update about this, I also experienced a shift in my emotions after the vaccine, but I don't feel that I've become a hybrid. My jaw also felt weird, but I don't feel I've become a hybrid. I still hear from Christ, and my quiet time is still the same. But I've got very, very sick, and I had to spend thousands and thousands of baht just getting myself back to normal. Very severe gastrointestinal problems, and also dizziness, so kind of like a brain complications as well due to these injections. This is just my thoughts on Sinovac and my vaccination. Now they want to give me AstraZeneca, and I will not accept that. I have enough proof that I don't want more vaccines. Vaccines have wrought enough damage on my body. I will literally decline it and risk losing my job. I don't care. You're not going to put an mRNA vaccine into my body. It's like a couple of months worth of research. You want to inject it into my body? No. It's just no. People dying from Sinovac and this AstraZeneca causing blood clots. Why do I want it? I also get this allergic itches because of the Sinovac, but that went away quickly, thank God. This is my Gab channel. Here it is. Where the cool thing about this Gab is, like, I upload old things, but I give updated commentary on it, so you can check out my Gab. There was a grandstand, maybe this is more on my thoughts about the Southeast Asia China showdown. Just sharing more. Soon the rapture is going to happen. I feel state coming. So I believe, like, the moon boom is when God and Satan both move their hands at the same time. Satan definitely wants the moon boom to happen, but then again, it might also happen because God is throwing Satan out of heaven. His time has come, so I'm not sure, but my dreams point both possibilities out. So I believe I got COVID, but all my COVID tests were negative, so it's again the Sinovac kind of gave me COVID. This is Skywatch TV got kicked off YouTube June 4. Here they explain how they've been kicked off. They are on Rumble now currently. Just another Gab that I'm sharing. I feel that's important. This is my prepper stash. Not very impressive, but hey, when you don't have a lot of money. More about Skywatch TV. Josh Peck talking about the gap. Extended tweet. Timing of what I believe will be the tsunami time. Tsunami event disaster. Okay. This stream again. And I put some extra words. When is the rapture? Here I share some thoughts. A dream this is the first dream. This is also the dream where I saw this lightning tornado for the first time. When I had the dream, I didn't believe in the rapture, pre-trib rapture. Years after this dream, all my dreams together started to converge and convince me of rapture. It's the way that it happened could have only been God. And here are my thoughts. This is me and somebody else talking. So what you see in yellow is his thoughts or questions to me, and what I put in white is my explanations and just inputs, trying to just help him guide his mind, because both of us seem to be in the same boat. See, this is one of the dreams that I didn't know what I was seeing. Straight lightning and then aliens show up. L.A. Marzulli. When we go up, they show up. So I believe when the rapture happens on that same day, the moon boom happens, but then these things show up. This might be a reference to the giants, to the dinosaurs, to the chaos creatures. They show up. So what they look like aliens, but in truth they are absolute monstrosities of chaos. And how this planet could refer to, I think, Ganymede. It's a moon of a planet in our solar system that's showing strange behavior as if it's an artificial object, and how this artificial moon thing might be used as a tool for alien disclosure by the enemy, possibly. I just don't know what Satan has planned up until this point. There's possibly 3 days of darkness after the moon boom, with the terrible fires of an asteroid moon boom chunk impacts. Terrible fires might just be the case, with fires raging and intense smoke blocking out the sun. I saw the damn smoke. I saw the terrible smoke in 2 or 3 tsunami dreams. It's not impossible. What I thought was dark clouds could have just been smoke. 3 days of darkness, yeah, I'm definitely for that. It's a major possibility. Here I'm answering another question. Here, so you see kind of like Satan making his move because he gets cast from heaven, or the reference to the sun might be asteroid. The symbol for a sun in this dream might be the symbol for an asteroid. God is telling me that Satan will emerge from a star, or Satan the star, or Satan the asteroid, or Satan using an asteroid, and how after he comes to the earth with the silver sword might refer to the moon as that silver celestial object, how he uses the sword, the moon, as a sword, or how God uses Satan as a silver sword. I'm not sure, because here's God's hand coming out of the sun as well. So it's this merged thing about Satan making a move and then God making a move. This dream is, I believe, in an earlier tweets. I'm just sharing more thoughts on it. Here's some more thoughts about rapture. This is my UFO encounters. My encounters. I literally saw this thing in Belleville, 2005, in the suburban night skies, about 70 meters from the ground. I saw this thing cruising overhead, soundless, slowly, and how I could feel a psychic stimulation as I was waving and shouting to this thing. I could feel something stimulating my mind psychically as I was trying to get that thing's attention, because I wanted to be abducted. I wanted to just get to the bottom of truth. What I saw that night, I had 2 UFO encounters. I believe you can call it close encounter of the third kind. I believe that was the enemy trying to pull me to his camp, or just dumb luck, or just God putting me at the right place at the right time to convince me of disclosure, and that I should make the alien disclosure ET deception thing part of my revelation project to the world. I share more thoughts about hybridization of the human race before, during, or after the tribulation. More during the tribulation, before and or during the tribulation, the hybridization of humanity. And I kind of not believe that it's COVID-19 vaccinations or the current ones, maybe later ones. I saw humanity get warped, but God used the symbolism of orcs drinking demon blood to express the hybridization of humanity, their blood being mixed by something demonic and with the DNA of animals. This was also a rapture dream, and I share the description and the interpretation. Pause if you want to read whatever I put on. So here I'm beginning to die because of the Sinovac injections. My breathing stopped, my mouth tasted like metal, but I did COVID tests and they were all negative. 3 COVID tests. I was sure I had COVID, but they were just all negative. Here I just share my experiences with this whole process of trying to get back to normal. Here I share my thoughts on why I accepted the vaccine or why I don't want the other vaccines. Bill Salas's the pre-tribulation gap, how this is becoming more and more of a prevalent theme. Me, even before I saw this, I was convinced of the gap. Bill Salas is coming out with it. Josh Peck is coming out with it. It's just, might there be a gap? Rapture around the corner, I believe. The 6th seal coming. People are mocking my bad health, but the bad health, I believe, is the enemy attacking me. I believe the enemy is attacking me. It does not like what I'm trying to do. Remember this dream? I showed it already. After this happens, the world went into a communist state of being, rebuilding. But then they built themselves up to an industrial age of technology where everybody is hunky-dory and internet and TVs start becoming a thing, but like they use old cathode TVs, and where technology is beginning to reemerge, and then it's like the bad players of the world, the bad guys and the false good guys, they join forces again, they're able to communicate again, and they like push the world to the final state of being, to the 7-year tribulation. Evil rises again. So this is like an out-of-body experience where these out-of-body experiences have been happening since a kid. One of the reasons I'm investigating New Age is just to make sure what I've experienced was God, or is it something else? And I believe this Native American thing that I've seen in an experience, it's God is trying to show me something. And thank God for L.A. Marzulli and his expose of the Hopi Indians and how they connected with Christ, God Almighty, even though they didn't have a Bible. How the revelation of God is written in the stars and on the stone tablets of men's hearts, and in general revelation, that you have no excuse. God makes himself easily known to everyone. You have no excuse, absolutely no excuse to live selfishly and freely in evil. God reveals himself to people. My laptop is getting very hot. Oh, very, very hot indeed. I need to cool it down a bit. 1 second. Don't want my laptop to go all dying on me. This must be a very long video by now. I'm not sure what I saw. I'm just putting it up there, you know? More thoughts on the dog that I had. I was alone, and I was in the midst of having a lot of spontaneous OBEs, and this dog showed up in my living room. It was just there, and I saw it. I'm like, why is there a medium-sized wolfy dog in my living room? And as I was walking towards the living room to see how did this dog get into the window, the dog just jumped off the sofa and, ran out of my view. And I'm like, okay. So I went into the living room and there was no dog, no windows open, no door open. So there was a ghost wolf, a spirit dog. And I researched at that time the dog that I saw, the specific breed on the internet showed that it's a typical companion of Native American Indians. And how I prayed about it, and God, the only thing that I got that night from God was a story about a saint protected by a dog, a famous saint. I think Saint something. I'm not sure now. Saint Bosco. Saint John Bosco. How he was protected by a mysterious dog, and how God showed me a mysterious dog, and how it. And I've also received a message from God about animals serving Christ after his temptation, and animals being Christ's companions, or angels and animals being Christ's companion after his temptation in the desert, and how God was telling me that, hey, you have a guard dog. Very strange, very interesting time. Very strange, very interesting occasion. Yeah, so I was running out of breath and I was dying essentially. And I heard Native American chanting and wind chimes in my room while I was dying. Luckily, I have this herbal powder that opens up my chest. Thanks to my wife, I used that and my chest opened up. And I'm still not sure about this Native American ties. Things keep showing up. Is there some occult blood tie in my thing, or is there a weird Native American Christian dynamic happening? And will I speak to someone specific in the future, sharing my experiences one day? We will see. So I want to talk to this guy, Chief Joseph Riverwind. Had a dream about a big war in space and how the aftermath of this war in space was weapons dropping to Earth. But then no. So while the war was going on, weapons dropped to the Earth. But after the war in the heavens were finished, these weapons turned to dust or to ash. So I believe right now there's a war happening in the heavens. Michael is fighting against demons, Satan, and how a lot of these dreams and revelations, they are useful now into preparing ourselves and to fighting the fight and helping the war effort, and giving value to our lives. But at some point this will expire and the war will be finished. We will enter the rapture will happen, and we will enter the post-war gap before tribulation, and how these things will turn to dust and be useless because people will say, see, where is the sign of his coming? A whole generation will tell their parents, we don't believe in this rapture thing that you saw. and how we will reach that point again one day, the current point we have now, where evil is good and good is evil, and that will be before the final 7 years. So essentially, both pre-trib and post-trib are true. Josh Peck also lending his thoughts with regards to the gap, tribulation gap, pre-tribulation gap, post-rapture gap. I'm just putting this rapture video on again. It's just an expression, you know. I felt that I wanted to put on. I don't know why, I just felt I wanted to. Here is my tribulation timeline again. So it's like we are past these. This was the terrible Islamic wars, Twin Towers, blah, blah, blah. The terrible martyrdom that followed this, with all the martyrdom of Christians by Islamic State and in China and here and there and everywhere in the world. And how we are in this time now of liberal chaos and burning down of churches and the persecution of Christians, and how it's reaching a certain point in time where suddenly the rapture will come. We are in this time now. All the saints, the deceased saints, are crying out to heaven, when, O Lord, when, O Lord. It's longing, the time of Islam's aftermath, longing, martyrdom, and crazy liberalism. Rapture soon, and moon boom as well. I me we Gaelic, that's still a thing. And literally, this thing was created recently, the I me we line. It's an interconnectivity initiative. How there's literally now an I me we thing. Finally. Good video. More about my health. It was terrible. Just trying to survive this ordeal thanks to the wonderful vaccines. Is rapture around the corner? I do believe it is. Are we still good? No, we are not good, because everything's being fulfilled. Just a little thing for someone to understand. Sin, grace, wages of sin, grace, and God's love. If you're a Christian, God doesn't see your sin anymore. He sees the finished work of Christ. Sin can still alienate you from God, but the moment you die, you go to heaven. But what about this in doctrine? What about that? What about this? Can you explain? What I understand and my experience is that even though you just sinned, stay close to God. If you're going to fool yourself and try to fool God, then you will only be the fool left with yourself. But if you have sin in your life and you want to be close to your God and you feel you don't deserve Him, you do deserve Him. He is a free gift. Get close to Him. Sin will kill your relationship and will kill your connection to God, but the free gift of grace cannot be robbed from you if that is not Christ's decision. Suddenly my head feels very strange. My brain is ringing. Why is my ears ringing? Let's finish this as soon as possible. Sinovac just keeps doing a number on me. I had a dream about Bangkok being surrounded and kind of like with lava and have eruptions of lava in its midst. And I believe this lava might be referring to terrible, terrible COVID that's going to hit Bangkok. Maybe it might be the riots and the political unrest. I just had a dream about Bangkok and lava and how getting to rural areas was the best thing to get away from this unrest and lava. Maybe unrest, maybe COVID, I don't know, lava, whatever the lava means. Maybe there's a new COVID coming. I might have seen the Peruvian COVID strain before it became a thing. Normal COVID's like a fire, but the new deadly incurable strain might be like lava. You can put out a fire, but you cannot put out lava. Lava runs its course and solidifies into obsidian. I don't know what that means, but that's the spirit symbol, and it has a meaning, I'm sure, in the future. My more thoughts on rapture and alien disclosure. This is the Iapetus is the weird artificial moon in our solar system. It's not Ganymede, sorry. It's this one. And how I believe I might have seen this thing. This thing will near Earth or fly towards Earth, I'm not sure. Or this thing will be proof for alien life, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Skywatch TV actually did a number on this and how this might form part of something. Me just like complaining about this, you know, injections. Trying to make contact with Skywatch TV. This is what I saw the rapture looks like. So the rapture happens and then the moon boom and then people are like, what the hell is going on? But then this is the speed at which an angel retrieves you and takes you up. And then there's this puff of steam or smoke after someone has been raptured. And this is literally what I saw. Yeah. Kind of like a South African time, it happened late afternoon, middle afternoon, because shortly after it started to get dark as the tsunami event started happening. It's me and that guy that's experiencing the same thing, a follower on YouTube, and Twitter. And we are at the end, guys. I'm gonna quickly go into my gab and also share my gabs.